Cole, you guys went into the bye week coming off two performances where the offense was really humming.
Yeah.
The last two games ahead. How do you reconcile the difference between those two performances and the last two?
Yeah, I mean, I still think, though, there was some issues even with those performances we had. I know the score was what the score was, but when you looked at the film, there were still some things that we had to clean up, and I think that's kind of what's reared its ugly head here the past couple weeks, and so we just got to work to get those things fixed up. I think what we had, though, in those two games where we were able to make up some things was with the explosives that we were able to get in the run and in the pass. So we need to get back to that, get more explosives in there, and that kind of helps and makes life a little bit easier.
Caleb had mentioned that maybe you guys didn't turn the page quick enough after Washington. Is there anything you guys as leaders want to do differently this week to make sure you put those 2 weeks behind you and start fresh?
I mean, I feel like we're at a good point now of moving on. I always, my grandfather growing up, we'd always talk about when you lose a baseball game like 1-0, those are the hardest ones to get past just because it's, you just didn't do quite enough, and it's a close one. It's where those games that you get slaughtered, or you can move on a little bit quicker from. And I think there's something to that. So I think after the dud in Arizona, it's a little bit easier just to move on from that than it is from a really close game and a heartbreaker losing it at the last second there. So I think that kind of what plays into it there, and I think we're in a good spot right now with moving on to New England this week.
What was accomplished Monday when Matt opened the floor up in the team meeting for you guys to talk?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was just kind of addressing the things that where we're at right now, and I mean, obviously we felt good with where we were coming out of the bye at 4-2, and where we could go, especially before the division games start. But look, right now we're a 4-4 football team, and that's where we're at. And now it just comes down to going to show who we are, this upcoming Sunday and starting that process. But it's really about focusing on this week and making this week the main priority over anything else.
It sounded like there was a sense of we can talk about it, but we need to go out on the field. And
you need to go do it. Yeah. So I mean, at some point the talking only gets you so far, and you try and solve issues that way, but at the end of the day you got to go do it on the football field, and that's kind of what we want to start doing here today.
Is it frustration for you personally set in after a game of London, and in the last two games you're not targeted as much? Is that frustrating?
I mean, obviously I want to be involved in the offense and make plays where I can, but sometimes it's just how the game flows here and there, and it is what it is. I know that it's not a conscious effort to not give me the football. It just kind of sometimes how things play out, and it takes all 11 from that standpoint. So I think it just kind of is what it is, and I try not to get frustrated with that stuff just because I know that there's a lot that goes into it. So it's just being ready for it, and if it's not getting the target for a while, it's always important to keep your head in the game, because the moment you get frustrated with things, and the ball does come your way, and sometimes a bad thing happens if you take your head out of it. So it's just important to stay locked in on words.
A must-win game. But isn't this a must-win game on Sunday?
I think they're all must-win games. I love that. I know that everyone talks about that. Every week's a must-win game. I really believe. I know everyone's you feel that at certain points. Yeah, I mean, we got to win this game here to get back on track at above 500 again, especially before division. So this is definitely an important one for us, and I think one we're all looking forward to get going on Sunday back in Soldier.
We also get asked a lot as reporters, is there a strain in the locker room? Is there division at all between players, coaches, things like that? How do you answer that question on how this locker room is with coaches and with everybody?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think we're really transparent with one another, which I think is a healthy and good thing. Look, I mean, I'm not going to get around that. We're all very emotional about this game, and I think the previous week after Washington that kind of showed itself. But no, I don't feel like any sort of strain. I think it's we have a good partnership here with the coaches, and I do think there's good transparency between the two groups, and at the end of the day we're all about winning.
Is this as outspoken though as it's ever been since you have been with the Bears in terms of that transparency with the coaches and the players?
Gosh, I felt like last week was a little bit loud, for sure. I've seen a lot of crazy weeks here, I will say. So I don't know if I can say it was the craziest, but it was up there for sure. So I think we definitely, as players, could have handled it a little bit better.
Cole, can you give us your top 5 of crazy?
No, there's more than 5.
Well, I'm sure you know it's a hard sell for Bears fans to say about an offense. Be patient. It's part of its process.
Yeah.
But is that kind of where you're at now? And do you have, even with this kind of regression, do you see a big light at the end of the tunnel?
Well, what I'll say is Bear fans don't need to be patient. They can be as PO'd as they want to be. That's their every right as a fan. So they can feel how they want to feel in that regard. I think for us, the urgency is definitely kicked in, and we got to get some things figured out. And We haven't done that quite yet. We got to be a more consistent group, and that's what we're striving to do. And I know that's hard when obviously you have a rookie quarterback. There's elements to that you got to work through, and Caleb's doing what he's got to do, but we got to help him along there in that regard. And we knew that there'd be some bumps in the road along the way, but I would definitely say we're not at where we should be at right now, and we're working every day to get that fixed.
What was your reaction?
How does that urgency extend to Caleb? Right? You've been around quarterbacks who've got sacked before, and that hinders your development from like his rookie season. How do you get? Is there that sense of urgency of like we can't have this happen so it doesn't like throw off his development?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think we all look at it as like we're trying to win games in that regard. I think, for Caleb, like these are all learning experiences, and look, I know we all see sack numbers and we all just want to put it on the offensive line, but there's an element of, hey, receivers got to run the right routes. We got to be right where we're supposed to be, especially if there's a hot element to the play. Obviously, the O-line's got to block it up correctly. Back's got to be in the right spot. Tight end's got to be alert to who's coming, who's not. Quarterback's got to be on in terms of, flipping protections and all those type of things. So there's a lot that goes into it than just maybe the offensive line component. And I think for Caleb and, what I've talked to when we have our conversations, it's just more about when you look at the tape, there's obviously things going around you that you can't control, but always look at it and see where you could have gotten better on a play or what you could have done more of on a play. So that's kind of the challenge with that. But look, there's going to be things that happen where he takes some hits here and there, and that's unfortunate. But we got to do as best we can as a group, helping him out in the protection aspect in that regard and keeping him protected and upright.
What was your reaction to Leo's trade, and how does the fact that he was one of the longer tenured members of the team add to the gravity situation?
Well, I mean, guys are in and out all the time in this league, so that is what it is. Khalil's a guy that I've grown very close with over the past couple of years, but look, I've seen so many guys come in and out, and that's just kind of part of the deal, part of the business here of being in the NFL. And I wish him nothing but the best, and I hope he does it and kills it in Cincinnati.
Yeah, honestly, one thing I can say about our fans is we travel everywhere. So I mean, but coming back here, going back to Soldier Field, it's always a lively atmosphere. We know that the fans will be behind us and they're passionate, right? They want to see wins and they want to see good things happen. So it'll be fun.
TJ, what was accomplished? A couple players stood up to you today, and it seems like there's a sense of we can talk about it all along and that's what we're
Yeah, so we have a team meeting every Monday, and just at this team meeting, I just felt like it was real, and just an understanding of, we're at the point where we got to go and put good product on the field, right? We got to go win games, and we got to do good things throughout the week to get that thing going, but also it matters what we do on Sunday. We got to show up.
You guys have great relationships on this team. That bond that you've built, how does that help you move forward into the coming weeks?
Yeah, I think we kind of started that in OTAs and got to know one another. And it's honestly times like these when adversity hits and you have to go have conversations with people and get on the same page. It's easier to do so when people know you care about them. And I think we did such a good job of that in the spring, which will kind of carry over for this part of the season.
How can this defense improve against the run this week compared to last?
Yeah, it's a point of emphasis every week. And as a backer, part of the front seven, we take that personally for sure. We know something's got to get cleaned up, and in the NFL, you're going to keep seeing something until you put the fire out. We know that it's coming, and we're excited about it. We have the guys to do it. We have the coaches and players to do it. And again, it's kind of to my earlier point. We're just going to get it done. It's really good.
TJ, it's kind of strange even before last week. This defense is getting better. The run game was not as good as last year. Let's take that game. Any reason why the personnel's pretty much the same? I mean, everything's the same, but for some reason, it's been an issue lately.
Yeah, we're getting out executed. Playing simple. Myself included, I think, we have to do a better job to stop this run so that we can get quarterbacks to third down and make them beat us. And I truly believe our back seven is one of the best in the league, and we get them to fairly positions out of the way. So we got to do a good job on first and second down to get to it.
How big of a loss is Billings?
Yeah, it's the brutal part about this game. He's our guy. He's our, he makes a lot of things happen, but that group is so close that I know there's going to be guys that are going to step up and fill that void. And he'll be with us every step of the way to kind of see things out. But that's the part of this business truly.
You struggle through 2 weeks like that in the middle of the season. How do you guys pick each other up in this moment?
Yeah. Again, I think we all go back to the best thing that we do is play football for a living. So times are tough right now, as they should be, because we want to win too. Haven't got that done the past couple of weeks, but I also know that this group will respond. We're excited about the next opportunity. Honestly, Sunday can't get here sooner enough. We just want to get out there and go play and go get back to having fun and just making plays and celebrating each other and things like that. We're confident that we'll get the job done for sure.
We got that vibe last week too. That you're going to go play another game. How? In what way is this week different?
Yeah, I mean, I think we understand the sense of urgency. We understand that. Again, it just hasn't looked the way it's needed to, the way that we know it can look. The people that we have here. But again, you go out there every Sunday, you give it everything you got, and the chips will fall when they may. And these past 2 weeks, they haven't panned out that way. But it doesn't mean anyone's losing confidence in what we can do or have the ability to do. We just have to go show it.
When things are going well or they're not, like whether it's here or somewhere else, like do players speak up as much, or is this is that a byproduct of things that need to be fixed and players feeling like your voices are going to lead?
I think that's what makes this team special and different, because there are guys voicing their opinions, and there's people that understand we're not where we need to be, and no one's just going to sit here and act like that's okay, right? We're going to try to fix it and get back to work, and that starts with, honestly, what we go out here and do here a little bit, for sure.
We're facing another scripting young quarterback. How do you think?
Yeah, we've had our work cut out of us for the past couple weeks with that. This guy is very talented, can do things with his legs, as you said, but also a very strong arm too. So we're excited. I know this game's going to be a big time game, as it should be. We're just going to go out there and put our best foot forward and go challenge these guys and go make plays and get back to kind of what we've been doing to start the season.
When he runs 8 times for 5 yards, I know that's not what he usually does. But how much stock do you put in his ability to run?
Yeah, I think you said it shows his ability of what he can do, but also knowing that they got some really good skill out there as well, and a really good couple of backs too. So it's going to be a great challenge for us. But again, this is about us, and we need to go out there and execute our scheme and go out there and play Bears defense, which we will do for sure.